speaking as a guy who's paid money to look after IT systems, I could see the problem. I could see the solution. Have you tried turning it off and on again? Hi, my name is Mike and welcome to my vlog about football in general and Burnley FC in particular. A vlog that this week was listening to a bunch of 80s tunes on Spotify and asked itself the question, Def Leppard, are they genuinely worse than Hitler? So Burnley are back in the Premier League, first home game of the season, 2-0 win over Sunderland in a game that I thought was decent and entertaining. So when I looked online, The Guardian said it was particularly turgid, especially the first half. Well, sorry, it can't all be glitter balls and fireworks for us Premier League also-rans. Now, I have to be completely open and honest here. I am not looking forward to this season. I'm expecting us to get relegated. That is more to do with the mindset that I'm currently in, because I haven't had a break for about 3 months, and also because the Premier League, as I've sort of gone on about before, is just inherently unbalanced. It's nothing to do with what the club have done, with what the manager's done, what the players done, anything like that. I just don't have high hopes for this season because of the way the Premier League is structured. Let's put it this way. It was pointed out that when Eze was paraded in front of the Arsenal fans on Saturday night, that took the spending for Arsenal under Mikel Arteta, as 6 years, just the latest manager, took their spending over £1 billion. £1 billion in players. That gives you an idea of what we're up against in the Premier League. So it wasn't with, a massive amount of hope or anything like that I've got into this season. Got to the game, got in the turf. I'll go on about the new entrances and stuff in a bit. But got in there and what the hell was that playlist? What the hell was that pre-match playlist? I walk in, I take my seat and they're playing Careless Whisper by George Michael. And then, is it Love Me Until Tomorrow by Queen? Followed by Under Pressure. I'm like, what kind of motivating playlist is this? It's a hard job to do. I know that the announce crew and all that kind of thing get a lot of criticism online. It's something I don't particularly like to do because I've done that job, not in football, I've done it in ice hockey. It's not easy when you're putting on a show for a lot of people. You will always get criticism. You will always get complaints. It will always be too loud, too quiet, too noisy, too shallow, just right. You will never make everybody happy. So I try not to kind of criticise too much, especially the things that the announcer says. But that playlist was like, what the hell? I really, really don't get that. But that it made up for it as the teams walked out to Ennio Morricone's The Ecstasy of Gold from The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, or as I call it, Metallica's intro music, which is just a fantastic piece of music to walk out to. If we could get the crowd, 19,000 Clarets, kind of singing along to that, if we could work out the timing so that when they walk on and then when they get to play the next bit, the Premier League theme, because they have to, if we could work out that timing and get the crowd to actually sing along in the way a Metallica crowd does, by the way, that would be a pretty damn awesome way of getting the players on the pitch and letting the opposition know they're in a cauldron, letting our players know that everybody's behind them, because I think that is the perfect piece of intro music. And then we start the game. Got away with one right away without 3 minutes. Got away with it in two ways. First off, Mayenda makes a bit of a hash of his chance. Dubravka makes a save. And then Dan Ballard, in setting that up, injures himself. It was quite clear that Sunderland's tactic was to far post, crosses to the far post, balls over to the far post, where there would likely be a man over because of the way Parker has set up the back five, as it were. But with Ballard going off, that kind of made our job a little bit easier. I think after about 20 minutes there was the other chance, the Talby chance. Esteve was there to cover it, so I think we'd have been okay, but Sunderland were attacking. I was kind of half expecting the game to be kind of like a dull ball fest, a little bit parker ball, but I think both sides were playing great football, playing it on the ground, looking to attack, defending well. No problem, no complaints, like I say. Guardian said it was turgid because it wasn't like end-to-end firecracker football. Well, we're not going to play that. Neither, we play that, we get killed. Remember, 2 years ago, everybody was slagging us off for playing naive football, and now, we're playing turgid football. You can't win. It's kind of like when Trafford was sold. All the previews turn around and go, well, now that Trafford's been sold, that defence doesn't look quite as good. If we'd have kept him, all the previews would have said, well, Trafford's still there and he got shelled last time he was in the Premier League. You can't win. So, don't even try sometimes. I think, both teams played good football. Lots of nice little passing, movement. I was enjoying it. I thought it was a decent game. In terms of the new players, I kind of like the back five. We had Ekdal and Esteve. Not a particularly quick central pairing, but I think they will do a good job. I'm not saying they're going to keep us up or anything like that. I'm not saying they're me and Tarkovsky or anything like that. But, I'm happy with them as a central pairing. Kyle Walker showing his experience, showing his class as well, his talent. Really like Hardman. Anthony, I thought, very good on the right. Hannibal will not make it to the end of October without a red card. Ugachukwu. He's got to be Ugachukwu. Presumably it's got to be, or Ugachukwu. It can't be what the announcer's saying, which is Uguchiku. Anyway, he looks like a taller Josh Cullen. In that the way that he just basically got the ball, recycled it quickly. Simple pass, simple pass, simple pass. Not particularly creative, but seemed to do exactly what Josh Cullen was doing. For a home debut, I don't have a problem with that at all. I'd like to see a little bit more creativity, but it's his first game at home. Okay, do the simple stuff. Do the easy stuff. Seemed to be fitting him well. I like that a lot. Actually, come to think of it, reminded me a bit of a Sanderberg. Not wrong with that. Yeah, Brun Larson, great to see him back. Foster looks better in the Premier League than he does in the Championship. Just kind of like saying he looks less out of place in the Premier League than he does in the Championship. Cullen, magnificent. Absolutely magnificent. What can you say? Man of the match, deserved man of the match. Again, just doing the little Josh Cullen things. I really, really love that. I love the fact that he just tidies things up. He just does the simple thing. He's just where he needs to be. What more can you say? Man of the match performance. Great goal. If Arsenal had scored that goal, I think you would be hearing about it a hell of a lot more. The way the ball was played out to the right, then moved out to the left, then inside, the little back heel from Anthony, the curled finish. Beautiful goal. And then we kind of slipped into what we were doing last year, not a bad thing. Kind of inviting Sunderland onto us, but not really letting them create too much. Keeping them to the outside. That's defensive solidity. Throwing themselves in front of shots, in front of passes. Dubravka being solid. Again, I don't have a problem with Dubravka. We sold Trafford for whatever, 27 million, 35 million, depends who you talk to. We pick up Dubravka for what? Maybe 4, 8. That's good business. Dubravka at the back, is he going to be as good as Trafford? Probably not. Is he going to be as good as we could probably expect? Yeah. Don't have a problem with that. Like I say, I think the transfer business and all that kind of thing, come on to some of that in a minute, solid. Very, very solid. And then, with a couple of minutes to go, wonderful counter-attack. First time ball from Cullen to Anthony, springing clear. Went round the goal. It was not something you see a lot of these days. Normally they dink it over, but he went round. Thought the defenders might have covered it. Thought he might have gone too far. Lovely finish into the roof of the net. 2-0. Everybody's happy. Solid. Really, really solid performance. Maybe the highlight of our season at home. Maybe. But not a bad highlight. I got my money's worth from the game. Enjoyed it. Very pleased with the performance. Just goes to show, by the way, we were a little bit down after losing to Spurs. Sunderland were on a high after beating West Ham. A week later, West Ham gets smashed at home by Chelsea. Spurs go to Man City and win. Turns out you can't really draw conclusions after a single game. Lessons learned for the people. And yeah, speaking of lessons learned for people, a lot of talk last week about the new access arrangements. Now, Now, speaking of someone who uses the Longside or the James Hargreaves upper or the North Stand upper or whatever you want to call it, and always goes in through turnstile 34, by the way, the lucky turnstile, Hilton Ruggles, if you know who he was. That basically means that I walk down Harry Potter's Way going in, and I used to go past the cricket club on the way out. Just habit, just one of those things you do in the match. And you can't do that anymore because they've switched the fans around in the cricket field, which took a little bit of getting used to, and will take some getting used to, but don't have a problem with it. And then that means, obviously, for safety reasons, you can't have the home fans and the away fans mixing on that alleyway up the side of the cricket club. Fine. Or if you read online, especially on Up the Clarence and stuff like that, that was worthy of flinging season tickets in Alan Pace's face. Come on. I literally, like I say, I walk in turnstile 34, so I'm basically walking as far as it's possible to walk if I'm going through Harry Potter's Way and going the other way. What's the big deal? I mean, genuinely, people were just losing it online. Talk of another Hillsborough, talk of a dangerous crush, blah, 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 blah. Just shut up, will you? Just quit moaning. I know you just want to have a go for the sake of having a go. That's all you care about. Oh, I've got to walk right instead of left. The sky is falling, I'm going to cut up my season ticket. That's me done after 77 years of being a Burnley fan. Oh, shut the fuck up. Get over yourselves, will you? And I know it's encouraged by people to do this complaining online. I know that it just, people want you to be moaning because it gets clicks and attention and all that kind of stuff. There's a good reason for it. I understand the reason. I don't 100% agree with the reason because I quite liked going down the side of the cricket club after a match, but hell, it's added on 2 minutes to my day. Whoa. And I'm like, I know people turn around and say, well, what if you're disabled? Well, you're being the disabled bit there hasn't changed. What if you got, special needs and mobility stuff? Well, you probably weren't going down that alleyway anyway, particularly quickly. By the way, talk of the crush and the pinch point, and I did have some concerns about the pinch point around the club shop and the end of the Memorial Garden and all that kind of stuff. A little bit of a pinch point there, seemed to be okay. Certainly no worse, absolutely no worse than the pinch point there was between the edge of the leisure box or whatever they call it and the fencing that would be up and the cars. That was always a lot thinner than that pinch point round the back of the Jimmy Mac. So basically the same old suspects just whinging for the fucking sake of it. Get over yourselves. I feel so much better for that. There's a phrase I'm going to use if you're watching this, Donny Parko. I'm not going to use it today. You're going to have to keep watching for the rest of the season. But there was a phrase I was going to use, but people will just moan for the fucking sake of moaning. That's just the way it goes. Anyway, but in terms of the match day presentation, that was a little bit the playlist. You had the thing where the Longside kicked into the pre-game light show, which was a bit weird. And then you had the floodlights going on and off. You had the other lights, the pre-game light show. Speaking as a guy who's paid money to look after IT systems, I could see the problem. I could see the solution. Have you tried turning it off and on again? But in terms of like the music, I've mentioned the playlist, the new speakers and all that kind of thing. Sounded good, sounded fine. Obviously some bugs to iron out. You kind of sort of don't expect them. But then you in a game like that, but I guess you only notice them because you don't expect them. I guess is the way it goes. Right, I was talking about sort of transfer business. I was talking about transfer business and stuff. We've got a week to the deadline and all that good stuff. Don't know if anyone else is coming in. I don't know who you would bring in. Love to see a striker, love to see a central midfielder. I'm going to get it wrong. It's Uga Chukwu. Is he the midfielder we need? At least it seems a bit lightweight for his size, but again, like I said earlier, maybe he's just feeling his way into the team and stuff. I'd like to see a little bit more creativity. I'd like to see maybe someone up front, I don't know, but we got Broya, we got Fleming. We're going to score loads of goals anyway, so we're not going to create a massive amount of chances, but it was nice to see Anthony. Anthony, I think, is one of those, I think he just needs the confidence to know he's a Premier League player. Judging by Saturday's performance, that confidence is there. So that's good. Yeah, I guess the outs are kind of the disappointing ones. Koleosho's the main one for me. Koleosho's kind of a little bit emblematic of how we kind of not lost our way in transfers, but kind of like it's been a little bit, I can't think of the word, not scattershot, but 2 years ago in the Premier League, Koleosho looked like a £40 million player. He was destroying defences under company. He was clearly young and raw, but he was learning. He was learning fast. And then he suffered that knee injury at Wolves, I think, Wolves away. I mean, he was keeping Odebear out, and Odebear went for 35 mil. He suffered that knee injury and then just kind of came back, and company's gone, and Scott Parker's come in. And I did the thing last year where he didn't look like Koleosho was being coached. He's a young player. He needs to be coached. He needs to be told what to do. He needs to be helped. He needs to be developed. And Parker, in his defence, his job was not to develop any players. Obviously, if players develop, obviously that is good. But specifically not to develop players. His job was to get us up by whatever means was necessary, and he did that job. No complaints, no regrets, whatever about that. But it meant someone like Koleosho, who needs coaching and development time, just wasn't getting it, and he wasn't going to get it. So going off to Espanyol, yeah, great. Good for him, his career. Maybe he comes back a better player. Hopefully he comes back a better player that we could use in the Premier League. It's just kind of like a sign that a couple of years ago with the company, we had clearly players with bags and bags of potential who were going to turn into, in my opinion, superstars with the right coaching. And we, for reasons which are understandable, if regrettable, we've not really kind of kicked on with that development approach, and therefore I think certain players have been kind of lost in the mix. Certain players' careers maybe will not reach the potential that they could have reached had they been in a situation where developing their careers was as important as the results on a Saturday afternoon. It's just modern football, really. It's just probably where we are as a club. We are that mezzanine club that bounces between the Premier League and the Championship, which means there are responsibilities that we can't spend a season away from the goal of staying in the Premier League or getting to the Premier League. We can't take a risk either on the pitch or off the pitch financially, and I think that's regrettable. I think that's disappointing. I think that's also understandable. I don't think it's the club's fault. It just is modern football. Going to put this up before the game tonight, or actually probably during the game tonight against Derby, and then off to Old Trafford on Saturday. I will be there, actually. I'm not going to do the City one this year. I'm doing United. Those are the two grounds closest to me. Happy memories of going to Old Trafford last time. Hopefully, maybe, given United, we can do it again. It's a possibility. It's certainly a possibility, because I'm not sure what that team is, but then it's Man United. They always have those players who are capable of doing the spectacular. That's what kills a club like us during a 90-minute game. You can do everything right for 89 minutes and 45 seconds, and then you get a player who costs 60, 70 million pounds just do a moment of magic that you can't stop. And that's the one that beats you. And it's unfortunate. The good United will probably turn up on Saturday because they're under pressure. Maybe Scotty's got something tactically up his sleeve. Our back five can keep them out. Maybe Cullen and Ugo Chukwu can handle Fernandez. Maybe. Let's see. But I go there with a little bit more hope. I'm looking forward to it a little bit more than I was. Yeah, why not? Because, like I say, went on Saturday not expecting a lot and not particularly looking forward to things, and I came off going, yeah, I got me money's worth. That's all I can ever really ask for. Till next time, hold the clarets.